That doesn't sound good. Well, this is fun. Oh, when you close the window, I was going to say, when you close the window, the noise goes down a little bit. It's definitely unusual, that, isn't it? Just picked this car up from Middleton, and I was told it had a bit of a sticky brake or something, and I thought as soon as it's freed up it'll be fine, but it's not, is it? Mind you, so long as they're working, I don't really mind if it's making a bit of noise. It's welcome to make a lot of noise. I don't care. That's what it sounds like at 30 on the brake. Bop, 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 bop. Apparently it's a common problem with these cars. Who else is getting the indicator instead of the wash wipe, and the other way around as well. Expecting the noise to go away ever so slightly as I drive along, but it's not doing. Besides all that noise, it's actually good enough to drive. It's alright. I mean, for what it is, yeah, it drives, it drives okay. It's not very exciting. Well, actually it is. Having all that noise going on at the back at the moment is quite exciting, because I don't know whether something is about to implode or explode. And I'd prefer just to get it to the yard without any more issues. Listen to that. A couple of miles down the road and the noise has gone. Therefore, it is now fixed. That's all it took, was just a little drive just to get over that initial noisy horribleness that made it feel like it was about to go completely wrong. And there we go. Spot on. I'm fully expecting it to start knocking quite badly again as soon as I go anywhere near the brakes, but you never know, I might just get lucky. But obviously it does need fixing, so I can't get that lucky. But as long as it can get me back to the yard without too many issues, I'd be happy, alright? But whilst it's not knocking, I quite like it. I quite like this little car, actually. I'm starting to feel a bit hub-nutty. He'd like this car. I'm sure he's got one like this, or he's had one like this, or people who like hub-nut have had a car like this. And as I approach the yard ever closer, I feel quite content, actually. Yeah, this is great. It's got a leather steering wheel. It's got 4 doors. It's got 5. It's got a really loads and loads of... Oh, the radio started talking to me. It's got loads of headroom. It's got shocking brakes, and it's got a really zingy, listen, really zingy 4-cylinder engine. Maximum effort, minimum go, and an automatic box. Not joking, I do actually like it. Very few cars are out there that you really do have to drive really hard to get them to go anywhere. This is definitely one of them. I shall demonstrate by racing this van. Rules not for you, matey, are they? Go. And there's 20. Oh, I easily beat the van. There's 30. There's 40. Time to slow down a bit. I don't think this would go around the bends too well. A nice bit of lean there. Kick down. Back to 40 again. Excellent. It's brilliant. Although it does feel like the back wheels aren't really attached. I just hope they are, because if they weren't, that would be really very inconvenient. It's probably just in the nature of these cars to not really drive too well in a straight line because they're so short. I haven't got the length of wheelbase to make them feel secure. Watch as it overtakes a learner driver. Yay! Triumphant. Goodness, this has got wallowy handling indeed. I really fancy taking this on a bit of a thrash out in the dry, because I reckon I'm going to have a lot of fun in it. I mean, the kind of fun that you have whilst doing 30 miles per hour. I'd feel like you're on the raggedy edge of the speed limit. Oh! That noise has come back. And it's gone again. And it's back again. Make your mind up, noise, why don't you? Yeah, but anyway, with the brakes sorted out on the back, I can well imagine having a right good time driving this thing. It's probably not such a big deal to fix anyway. I'll soon find out, won't I? And here we are, safely at the yard. Well, the chaps next door certainly seem to enjoy it. Some cars are blue, some are silver, some don't know what colour they want to be, and some are red. The latest acquisition to the yard is something a bit different to the norm. It's a Hyundai or Hyundai, or however you want to pronounce it, Amica CDX. That's not a very good name, but it's also not going to be a very good car, but that's not important. Some people do like to buy big daft rovers like this, but the majority prefer something like this. Small enough to park in a shoebox, bland enough to need to label that box so that you don't lose it. It is just a box on wheels. There's no styling whatsoever. The wheels look absolutely diddy on this tall body, and the front end looks really, really sad, doesn't it? It looks like a really unhappy little car. But actually, it's not. It's actually quite a cheerful little thing. How many of those do you need? Ugh. I'm going to risk snapping the mirror off doing this. That's one off. Yes, I've got them all off. This is a diddy car, a really diddy car. Look how narrow it is. My elbow is right up to the door. You definitely would not want somebody whacking into the side of you, because you're not going to be very well protected at all. Considering that, and then we go across to the other side, and there's practically no gap between the passenger and driver seat. This is fine if you're driving alone, because you will tend to sort of sit almost to one side slightly so that you've got room for your elbows. But what if you have somebody sat next to you that you don't like? Then we have the interior, which is plastics, grey plastics everywhere, but with a genuine leather steering wheel. When I say leather, I mean it's leather coated. It's not leather on the inside. And it actually feels nice, a nice steering wheel. Who would have thought it would redeem itself that quickly? Look down here though, we have an automatic gearbox. Oh, and look, a leather gear knob. How about that? Electric windows, front and rear too. If this dashboard had a rubber mat on there, this would be really nice, but it doesn't. And that is so flimsy, I can actually feel that on my foot. Yeah, scratchy, even more scratchy. Very, very dated controls, but they work. And an original Hyundai or Hyundai stereo. 88,000 miles. The incorrect time. I can fix that. There's a warning on the dashboard there telling me that I don't have my seatbelt on. And I know that. I know that because I can feel it on my arm. It's that close. I can actually feel the buckle in the way of my arm. Build quality. Not much. Headroom, loads. Indicators and wipers on the side you don't expect. Oh, look at this. Aircon. I wonder whether that works or not. An 1100 four-cylinder motor. You're going to expect it to rev to about 9,000, but no, not even 6. But it does have 64 brake horsepower. I can almost manage that on my Peugeot push bike. Down here though, we have levers for the boot, for the fuel. A tiny little engine, tiny little single cam engine that's quiet, and the tiniest battery you've ever seen in a car. The boot is small, but not really small. It's quite big for its size. No, the only problem with this boot is the height that tailgate goes up to, which just happens to be injury height. Well, that says it all, doesn't it, really? You really couldn't have more than 2 adults in the back of here. But it does have headroom in the back as well. So it's for people who don't have legs but do have big torsos, you're fine. The rest of you, you're going to need another car. I'd have more leg room having a shower in the sink. Shit sounds acceptable. Now this is obviously a budget car. It's so small, it's so narrow, it's so tinny, it's so cheap. But why does it have to be absolutely gopping to look at? It really is hideous. The style is, well, there's no style whatsoever. I can't stop looking at it, it's that bad. It manages to be gormless and hideous at the same time. I don't think I've ever seen a more disappointing looking car. Actually, the front end is probably the best bit. Consider the size of the car, and with its 64 brake horsepower, guess how much you have to pay tax? No, you have to pay as much on this as what you do a normal car. So things are really not looking that great for this Hyundai after all. Not only that, you know if you ever crash in it, you're not going to be safe. But at least you won't be bored.